And I wanted to share an excerpt on radical responsibility because it's necessary for every area of your life if you want to be an autonomous, healthy adult. This means our actions are our direct response to what life is asking us. The irony? We rarely take time to assess where our lives are headed. Sure, this is partially due to how busy, overwhelming, and stressful life can be, but it's also because we don't always want to know. When we look at the future we're creating, it might not be where we want to end up. Instead of taking the steering wheel of our life, it's easier to bury our heads in the sand and blame and trust fate to either bring us where we want to go or somehow save us when we get there. But this only works until it doesn't. So we'll explicitly ask you, where do you want to be in 20 years, in 10 years, in 1 year? If you let your life continue to direct itself and everything stayed the same as it is today, where are you likely to end up? Would you be okay with that? Pause for a second. Take a deep breath. Okay. Now imagine if you decided today to shift your life and align with your power and your deepest calling. Where could you be? How would that feel to declare and to hold? This recognition of what is currently true may be heavy, but it is also incredibly liberating. Why? Because you no longer get to be the spectator watching your journey. You have the right to be happy. You have the right to be fulfilled. You're allowed to prioritize and choose yourself. Shocking, isn't it? What do you need and what step can you take right now to access more empowered choices in your life? What needs to end? What needs to begin? What would you feel like if you stood in the truth of these answers and decided to claim the potential you're leaving on the table, not just for your relationships, but also for your life? To step into the fullness of ourselves and our lives requires immense courage. It requires a willingness to make our way into the unknown. Due to our family patterns, the masks we wear, and our adaptive strategies, we're wrapped in the patterns that insulate us from feeling our pain and the power of presence and choice. You can't live a full life and love with your whole heart if you are not fully here. Changing established patterns and removing masks is far from easy. You might wonder, why is it so hard to use your voice? Why is it so challenging and paralyzing to lay a boundary for the first time? Why it feels almost impossible to say goodbye to that friends with benefits, or whatever type of relating that is not in service of your deepest desires. Why does all of this sometimes feel so difficult? Why does the body seem to feel stuck? Or why does our voice just not work when we need it most? You might wonder, why is it so hard to use your voice? Why is it so challenging and paralyzing to lay a boundary for the first time? Why it feels almost impossible to say goodbye to that friends with benefits, or whatever type of relating that is not in service of your deepest desires. Why does all of this sometimes feel so difficult? Why does the body seem to feel stuck? Or why does our voice just not work when we need it most?